or die. Swing those hips around, can't stop, roll back down. My ladies, short, tall, thin or wide, always down and ready to ride.
That was much, much better. Guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Gene. A huge win in Vancouver last night for the Edmonton Oilers after a bit of a tough week, and I want to talk a bit about that, even though it has been dragged through the mud on social media over and over and over again. But I want to give you guys my take on that. But before I get into that, guys, please respect the fallen, the guys that gave us our freedoms. Get yourself a poppy, guys. As you know, tomorrow is Remembrance Day, and we remember the guys who passed away. Well, basically a lot of wars, but essentially World War II, who have given us what we have today. They sacrificed their lives for our freedoms today. So just always acknowledge that. All right, let's get into, okay, so yesterday's game, the first half was a little bit sketchy. They let them almost catch up. However, once they got that fourth goal, it just seemed to break their bow. I want to talk about the Evan Bouchard play that has been getting a lot of attention in the Vegas Golden Knights game on Thursday night. Now, look, players make mistakes. Defensemen, they may pinch when they shouldn't be pinching. They may even fall backwards and fall on the ice and slip. Mistakes do happen. I get it. What I cannot tolerate, and this was brought up on by Tyler Yaremchuk on Oiler Nation, and he's 100% right. What I cannot stand is laziness. And watching Evan Bouchard literally coasting into the zone when Jack Eichel, he ended up getting it in. But what if Stewie saved it? And the only chance to save that play is being back in position and getting the puck out of the zone. But Bouchard's just coasted in, and now he's out of position, and a second shot goes in, and then it goes in. You know what I mean? Like, there was still a chance for that play not to happen, but I did not like the coasting in. Now, I forgot who the guest was on there, but it was one of the former Oilers. I just can't remember. He played very briefly, but he did say Stuart Skinner was a big part of that problem. Yeah, I get it, but that was a mistake that he made. He was a little in too deep. Not Stuart Skinner, the other Skinner. He was in a little too deep and had to race back, but he did make an effort at racing back. Watching Bouchard basically parallel legs toasting in, I was not a big fan of that. So that was my take on that. However, we're in good vibes territory as the Edmonton Oilers had a very convincing win last night against the Canucks, and Desharnais looked a little silly. I hate to say it, but anyway, guys, before I get into the episode and the breakdown of the episode, I'm asking you kindly to consider sharing, and subscribing to my channel if you like the content I bring. This will help me grow the channel, and if I can grow it, I can do bigger and better things for you guys as a fan base. Anyway, let's get into the breakdown of the episode for today. All right. 4 games, lots of games to talk about. The Oilers and Flames from last Saturday night. I believe was that Saturday or Sunday? But anyway, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Devils game. We're going to go around the league. Lots of news stories surfacing around the league. Another reflections piece. Then we're going to talk about the Oilers Knights. I'm not going to harp too much on that bad play by Bouchard, but I basically said my piece. So I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to take a look at the Western Conference standings, and I added a little element on when I do this is I put these little trending upward and trending downward arrows for the teams, or put them at even if they haven't really moved up or down in positioning. So I'll explain it to you, and I'll explain how many spots they dropped off. We'll take a look at the upcoming games as they take on the Islanders, the Predators, and who's the third game? Oh, the Leafs. The Leafs next Saturday night on Hockey Night in Canada. Got another poll question, then we'll get into final thoughts. I'll answer your questions, and we'll do it as a wrap. So we're going to start off with the Oilers and Flames game that took place. I believe this was a Sunday night game. I think this was a Sunday night game. I already forgot, but I believe it was last Sunday as the Oilers took on the Calgary Flames. This was an interesting one. Don't know really what to say so much about it. We'll just get right into it here. Okay, so my takeaways for this game is the Edmonton Oilers power play that's been slow this season produced the game-winning goal, and that was Hyman's goal, which was also good for Hyman because he's been a little slow so far. And the Oilers did win this game, but it was another tough-fought battle. It was a 4-2 win for the Oilers. The key moment, Calgary's too many men penalty with 2:18 remaining hurt the Flames' chances of sending the game into overtime. Obviously, they got the empty netter to make it. It was actually a lot closer game despite what the score says. The key stat, Draisaitl has 5 goals and 3 assists in the last 4 road games and 2 goals and 4 assists in the 2 games since McDavid was injured. Draisaitl had an average point a game in 56 career games without McDavid since the latter was drafted overall by Edmonton in 2015. When McDavid went down, I had a feeling in my gut this would rally for the captain. They would rally for the captain in upcoming games against Jersey and Vancouver, a definitive test. Okay, so my game grade for this one here, I'm going to give them a B. The reason why a B is they played all right, but there were still a lot of mistakes, things that I didn't really care about so much, but they were starting to gel, which was huge for me. All right, I'm going to try to rifle through this episode a little bit quick today because I do have some unfortunate stuff that I have to do this afternoon as I have to go to the hospital to visit my mother as things. Yeah, I won't get into that, but she's recovering in hospital right now, and I got to go visit with her. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this episode. Try to just kind of get it through and be done with it. As we'll dive into the Oilers and Devils game, which was the second game this week. This was at Rogers Place on November the 4th, and the outcome of this one was 3-0 New Jersey. Not a good game. This is the Oilers this season. They're high, they're low. They're high, they're low. There's no it's like a real crazy ski hill with big moguls and no moguls. Big moguls and no moguls. That's basically their season. For takeaways, Leon was held pointless after having 6 points in his previous 2 games. Well, the whole team was held actually pointless because they got shut out in this game. New Jersey took a 2-0 lead on a power play, 3:26 remaining in the second period. Nico Hischier made a nice feed in the slot to set up Pratt. Definitely a back-breaking goal late in the second there when they were still trying to fight, but yeah, not good. Key stat, Jake Allen made 31 saves for his second shutout of the season and 26 of his NHL career, helping the New Jersey Devils close their Western Conference chip with a 3-0 victory over the Edmonton Oilers on Monday night. My take with the Edmonton Oilers being blocked 14-9 and being out hit 19-5, not to mention Devils tender Jake Allen on pace for a career year. It doesn't matter if you outchance them 31-16. Statistically, the Oilers need to improve in so many areas. Decent game, but a wise captain once said, dig in. Like, that's the thing with the Oilers. That's why I call this episode Digging In, because there's not a lot of stuff I can really think about. Like I said, it's highs and lows this year. It's just from one extreme to another, from an awful game to an amazing game. So my game grade for this one is going to be a D+. It was not bad enough to give them a D- or a fail, but it definitely wasn't a very nice looking game at all. All right. Okay. Let's go around the league now and look at some of the latest stories that are floating as we get into that. Okay. So, Jets stop Stars and cruise to a 14-1 for best season start in NHL history. The Jets are flying, guys. Like, they're scary good. Really, really impressed with them. Dylan Holloway returned to the Blues lineup after against the Utah after taking a puck to the neck. This was a scary situation that happened earlier last week. Can't remember who they were playing, but Dylan Holloway took a slap shot while defending a play right to the side of the neck, and he kind of shook it off, and then all of a sudden he was stretchered out. He was on the bench, and they were stretchering him off the ice and trying to hold his neck in place, and there was a lot of worry that maybe he did some damage to his neck and that. So, but he's back, which is good. He might be an ex-Oiler. He might be, well, it doesn't matter, ex-Oiler or anything. You don't want to see a player. It's a tough game. You don't want to see a player get hurt like that. And I've seen some pretty bad injuries, and that could have been really, really bad. Kings Tanner Jeannot gets 3-game ban for a illegal check to the head. Brock Besser absolutely got leveled by Tanner Jeannot. And this is still happening, and there's more science. And we heard about what happened to Joe Murphy from the Edmonton Oilers after taking that big hit and that change. There's got to be heavier discipline in 3 games, or maybe on a first offense, 3 to 5 games. Second offense, half a season. Third offense, you're booted out of the league. Like, this has got to stop. People's lives are being affected dramatically health-wise. We saw Boo Gardner, but he was also a fighter. But, like, all the hits to the head that these guys take, like, it's not good. And if you guys want to check out a good documentary, watch W5's documentary on Joel Murphy, where, he's now a homeless guy living in Kenora, Ontario, and it's quite a touching story, and it breaks down everything that happened to him. Anyway, getting off track. Shea Weber, Pavel Datsyuk, Jeremy Roenick, amongst others, have been inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame. That would also include Dave Poile, former GM of the Nashville Predators. So a big congratulations to those fine gentlemen. And I didn't have enough room, but Alexander Ovechkin is now 31 goals away from beating Wayne Gretzky for the all-time goal leaders in NHL history. How do you guys feel about that? I want to know how you guys feel about that. You can message me in on the message board, but yeah, that's a huge accomplishment, and he's on fire. He is on fire. He's playing really good hockey right now. It's scary. Okay, let's go into my reflections piece now, as I'm going to keep it a secret. We'll just get right into it. For my sixth installment of Reflections, I'm going to go to a player who wasn't part of the Glenn Sather era, but was part of the Kevin Lowe era and helped contribute in a lot of ways, scoring so many clutch goals in key moments, had silky, silky sweet hands. I'm talking about Alish Hemsky. And if you don't believe me about him being clutch, just go on YouTube and look up his goals, key moments. One I can recall was against the Detroit Red Wings in the 2006 playoffs, and another one that everyone should know about is the Derek Stefan mishap that led to a tying goal against the Dallas Stars with about 20 seconds left in the game. An amazing goal. One of those goals that if you were at that game, you're like, holy cow, I actually attended and witnessed that goal. That kind of situation. Let's get on with his career as an Edmonton Oiler and his career in general. Ales Hemsky was born on August 13th, 1983. He is a Czech former professional ice hockey player. He originally was a member of the Edmonton Oilers who selected him in the first round, 13th overall, in the 2001 NHL entry draft. In the NHL, he played for the Oilers, the Ottawa Senators, the Dallas Stars, the Montreal Canadiens, where ultimately he would retire. And then he also represented the Czech Republic at two Winter Olympic Games. Hemsky entered his professional ice hockey career as a 16-year-old, playing for HC Moller Pardubice of the Czech Extraliga in his hometown of Pardubice. He split the 1999-2000 season between Mueller and their junior club, HC Mueller Pardubice Jr. Hemsky decided if he had a better chance to be scouted, he would have to join a Canadian junior league than try to make the jump in the Czech Extraliga. He subsequently became the first selection of the Hall Olympics in 2000 of the CHL import draft. The following season, 2000-2001, Hemsky led all rookies in scoring with 36 goals, 100 points. He was named to the all-rookie team, was selected to play in the 2001 CHL Top Prospect Game, and was awarded the Mike Bossy Trophy as the QMJHL's top prospect. Hemsky continued his success in Hull during the 2001-2002 season with 27 goals, 97 points in 53 games, and finished 19th overall in QMJHL scoring race. On October 12th, 2002, Hemsky recorded his first career assist against the Nashville Predators. On January 4th, 2003, Hemsky scored his first career goal against the Montreal Canadiens in his 26th game of his rookie season. During his rookie NHL season, he scored 6 goals and 30 points in 59 games and was a healthy scratch for 23. He also went pointless in all 6 of Edmonton Oilers' playoff games. Hemsky returned to the Czech Republic to play 47 games for HC Moller Pardubice during the 2004-2005 NHL lockout. During that time, he scored 13 goals and 31 points, 5th on the club. Pardubice won the 2004-2005 Czech Extraliga for the first time in 16 years, and Hemsky was named playoff most valuable player in his efforts. During the 2005-2006 season, Hemsky had a career year setting a personal best in every major statistical category. He scored 19 goals, 58 assists, and 77 points while playing in all but one game for the Oilers during the regular season. The Oilers captured the 8th and final playoff seed in the Western Conference. In the playoffs, they went on to eliminate the Detroit Red Wings in 6 games of the first round, beat the San Jose Sharks as well in the round 2, and in the conference final, they knocked off the Anaheim Ducks in 5 games. The Oilers, however, would lose the Stanley Cup final in 7 games to the Carolina Hurricanes. In the final year of his contract with the Oilers, again out of playoff contention, on March 5th, 2014, Hemsky was traded to the Ottawa Senators for a fifth-round pick in the 2014 NHL entry draft and a third-round pick in the 2015 NHL entry draft. He quickly found success on Ottawa's top line alongside center Jason Spezza, recording 6 points in his first 3 games. He finished the season with 17 points in 20 games as the Senators fell short of the playoffs. Unable to agree to a new contract with the Senators, Hemsky signed as a free agent a 3-year, $12 million contract with the Dallas Stars on the 1st of July. In signing with the Stars, he was joined by Senators linemate Jason Spezza, who coincidentally was traded to the Stars in the early days to come. He also was joined by former Edmonton Oilers teammate Sean Horkoff in Dallas. Going into free agency, Alex Hemsky would sign a 1-year, $1 million contract with the Montreal Canadiens. However, he would suffer a severe concussion during a game against the Anaheim Ducks on October 20th that ended his season only 7 games into it. By September of 2018, the Canadiens had not renewed his contract, and no other team had yet shown any interest, although symptoms from the concussion were gone. On March 15th, 2020, Alex Hemsky officially hung up his skates and announced his retirement from professional hockey. Alex Hemsky was an amazing player, and I hated the fact that he was on Dallas because I still had ill will to Dallas for all the stuff they did to us way back in the day. But Alex, once an Oiler, always an Oiler. We'll always salute you, and we knew that we got the best years out of you as an Edmonton Oiler organization. God bless you, man. Yeah, definitely. Alex Hemsky was one of my favorite players. And that goal that he scored against the Dallas Stars is probably still till this day one of the top 10 goals that I've seen in Edmonton Oiler history. I mean, you can't put every goal McDavid scores on there, but yeah, was definitely a rememberable experience and just a crazy goal. All right, we got 2 more games to cover as the Oilers took on the Vegas Golden Knights on Thursday. And then, of course, the Vancouver Canucks last night. Let's get into the Vegas Golden Knight game here. And this was at Rogers Place, November the 7th. Again, I'm not going to really elaborate anymore on the piss-poor defending effort of Evan Bouchard. But I do want to also, before I get into that, I do want to say to Stuart Skinner, like, I know he's fighting through some stuff, and I know that I give him a lot of the blame, but this game I don't think was his fault at all. This was actually his team's fault in a lot of ways. Anyway, let's get into that. Oops. Wrong one. Just 1 second here, guys. Okay, so my takeaways from this game: McDavid, a surprise starter, only a week and a half into an injury that we thought was going to be 2 to 3 weeks, coming back just 9 days after suffering the ankle injury against Columbus. Initially expected to be 2-3 weeks out, yes. The star forward came into the contest with 11 points, 3 goals, and 8 assists during a 6-game point streak versus the Golden Knights, but he was held without a point. The key moment, with just 48.4 seconds left to play, the Golden Knights won a race to the corner, and Ivan Barbashev was able to send it out to a hard-charging Hanifin, who sent the shot glove side to beat Skinner for the second goal of the third period and the third goal of the season for him. Key stat, Hyman got his third goal in the last 4 games, so he's starting to warm up. Gotta love that. We need that guy to warm up. The veteran forward went scoreless in the first 10 games of the season following a 54-goal campaign last season. Hyman now has 5 goals in the last 6 games versus Vegas. So it's good to know that Hyman's starting to... Well, I'll be honest with you. I really think Hyman's been consistent all year round. It's just doesn't have puck luck, or didn't at that time, but he's starting to come around. So my take, the Oilers seem to be missing 2 key elements: the killer instinct that took them on that 16-game winning streak last year, and someone on the team to be clutch. Someone that gets a huge goal at the right time, a massive hit or a game-saving save or block. There's just the killer instinct is just not there with this squad yet, but I think it's starting to get there. They're really tight on their sticks. They're trying to find their way. What they need some momentum. They need a few wins in a row, and then I think the confidence is going to start going, and then we're going to start seeing some really good Edmonton Oilers hockey. So my grade for this game, guys, I was not very impressed with the Evan Bouchard, but I'll give them a C. I thought they played a pretty decent play. There was some mistakes, and then obviously a lot of laziness in this game, or one specific play. I'm not going to harp on it. But anyway, I gave them a C for this game. And then that takes us to last night, where the Edmonton Oilers went into Vancouver. And this was a feel-good one for me as an Oilers fan, because if you do remember the season opener last year, they got absolutely thumped by the Canucks. So to see us I don't think they thumped us or we thumped them as bad as they thumped us last year, but still, this was a pretty good, convincing, solid win for the boys, and it was nice to definitely see. All right, let's get into this one. At Rogers Arena, not Rogers Place, Rogers Arena in Vancouver, November 9th, Oilers Canucks, Hockey Night in Canada. They had Jake DeBrusk on. And they were supposed to have Zach Hyman, but I don't think he actually made it on. They were talking about Jake DeBrusk for quite a while. So that was interesting. My game notes, the takeaways. The lackluster power play went 1 for 3 after coming in 26th in the league at 14.3. With Hronek in the box for holding, McDavid tapped in a backdoor shot to boost Edmonton's lead to 5-2 midway through the third period. Yeah, this was a backbreaker, and then this is when the Canucks just started really falling apart. Edmonton broke the game open at 6:10 into the third when former Oiler defenseman Vinny Desharnais couldn't clear the puck from the front of Vancouver's net. Brown picked it up and sent it up over Lankinen for his first goal of the game to make it 4-2. Now, Lankinen's been quite the story in Vancouver, but this was one of his off nights, and he would eventually get pulled, and Shivos would go in for him to cover him. The key stat, McDavid now has 67 points, 24 goals, 43 assists in 41 career games against the Canucks, the most he has against any other team. My take, don't want to get ahead of ourselves in the lopsided victory, but the Oilers were still playing with tight sticks. And I would say for a good the first 30 minutes, there was a lot of bad passes, a lot of just not good stuff to watch. They were lucky because I think Canucks could have buried them in the first 30 minutes of that game, but they were just not finishing either, and I think that was the key moment. That being said, defensively sound and waiting for the Canucks to make mistakes. So they were really clogging up the neutral zone quite a bit. But again, their passes weren't crisp. There was a lot of stuff to not like about it, and a lot of stuff that they still need to work on. But my overall grade for these guys, or for this game, is going to be A minus. You're thinking, whoa, that's kind of low considering it was a 7-3 win. Well, it's only a 7-3 win, but the thing that brought my score down is the fact that there was a 3-0 lead for the Oilers, and then they nearly caught up. It was 3-2, and I'm like, what? Are we going to lose this game? But then eventually it became 4-2, 5-2, and so yeah, I gave him the A still, but not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. All right. So that's the 4 games. Lots of games. Boy, oh boy, lots of games to cover. We're going to take a look at now where the Western Conference standings lie and what has been happening in the league who's been moving up and down. Now, as you can see, you'll notice there's a arrow, horizontal arrows. That means that they haven't moved position at all. There is also the green arrow trending up and the red arrows trending down. So Winnipeg is just a juggernaut this year, just an amazing team. They still remain in first. Minnesota has gained a spot, going into second now overall. LA has gained some ground, 1 spot. Vegas dropping off 2 spots. Vancouver gaining a spot, Calgary gaining a spot, Dallas losing 2 spots, and looky, the Oilers are in playoff position right now if the playoffs were to start, and they have gained 2 spots as well. Utah is down 1 spot. Colorado, I never thought I'd hear this, but they're still out of the playoff picture, but they gained 3 spots, so they might be starting to come around. Watch for the Colorado Avalanche in the next couple of weeks. I think we're going to start seeing them crushing it. St. Louis would be the next. They dropped 2 spots. Seattle dropped 1 spot. Nashville starting to trend upward. They gained a little bit of ground, but that's a story this year too, is the Nashville Predators, who the Oilers will play on Thursday, and actually the last game of the season between those 2 teams coming up this week, and that'll be in Edmonton at Rogers Place. Chicago trending upward. Anaheim losing 3 spots. They're falling apart. And San Jose is still dead last in the league. And I'll call it now. I don't think San Jose is going to make the playoffs, but, I called it last week, but then they started winning. But we'll see what happens. It's nice to see the Oilers above the playoff cut line. Now we just got to keep getting in there and getting a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. So come on, boys, let's have a good week. Speaking of which, let's get into, I believe that's what's next, the upcoming games, correct? 3 games this week as they take on the Islanders, the Predators, and Maple Leafs. And we will dive into that right now. So, with the Islanders coming into town, the Islanders are kind of fighting it a little bit too, but they're dealing with a lot of injuries. They're going to be coming into, now these are stats as of yesterday, so they might have played last night. This was yesterday morning when I did these graphics. So as of yesterday morning, 6-6-2 record. They're 5th in the Metropolitan. They are 28th in the league for goals, 4th in the league for shots on goal. So they like to pepper it. 28th in the league on power play. So their power play is a little bit worse than Edmonton's right now. 2nd in the league for faceoffs. So that's a good close matchup where the Oilers are 4th in the league. They are 29th in the league for shooting percentage. Shots on goals allowed, they are tied for 10th. Goals allowed, tied for 10th. Shots on goal, they're 18th. Penalty minutes, they're actually pretty disciplined, but maybe they need to be a little bit more aggressive. They are 2nd in the league. Penalty kill, 30th in the league. So a lot of similar stats to the Edmonton Oilers, or what the Oilers have achieved thus far. Then they will go and play the Nashville Predators in Edmonton. Final game this year, and both times the Oilers beat them. The last time was October 31st on Halloween, where the Oilers won 5-1. Nashville, a surprising 4-9-1, eighth in the Central, last place in the Central. There was so much hope for this team going into the season with Marchessault signing and with Stamkos signing, but it just hasn't been clicking for that team. 30th in the league for goals, 6th in the league for shots on goal, tied for 12th in the league on the power play, 5th in the league for face-off, 31st in the league for shooting percentage, 27th in the league for goals allowed, 21st in the league for shots on goal allowed, 27th in the league for penalty minutes, and 2nd in the league for penalty kill. So they got a decent penalty kill. But then again, they played the Edmonton Oilers how many times, and the Edmonton Oilers penalty kill hasn't been that good. So I don't know what other teams they might have played that have had crappy penalty kills. UC Saros and Skinner both share one shutout apiece. Saros with a 904 save percentage, Skinner 885. We're hoping that he's on his way back and bouncing back from that. Again, it's the last time they will meet this season. Nashville, I'm really surprised with how this team has underperformed this year. And the last and final game in the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, at the Scotiabank Arena. The Oilers will take on the Leafs on Hockey Night in Canada next week. Toronto, second in the Atlantic with a 8-5-2 record. They're under new coaching. It's a little different for them. Austin Matthews, I think, is listed day-to-day, or he might be out for a long time. I don't know what the latest is on him, but I do know he is injured. The Leafs are 17th in the league for goals, 9th in the league for shots on goal. Their power play is 16th in the league. Face-offs, 3rd in the league. Shooting percentage is tied for 22nd in the league. Goals allowed, 6th in the league. Shots on goal allowed, 13th in the league. You can see that that's a bit of the Berube effect, because Berube is a defensive-minded coach. Penalty minutes tied for 22nd at 9.9. Penalty kill is 8th in the league. So there's a lot of good things going on with the Toronto Maple Leafs now, 100%. The question is Austin Matthews going to be, I don't know what his status is. I should have actually got that info for you, if he's out long-term or not. But I do know he was hurt for a while there. The previous matchup between these two was a Toronto win on March 23rd of last season. 6-3, they beat us. And Toronto is 5-3-2 in their last 10. The Oilers are 5-4-1. So both teams are kind of trending in the upward direction. Again, keep in mind, these stats that I did were yesterday morning. So I believe Toronto did play yesterday. So yeah, they did. They played Montreal. So and defeated Montreal. So they have a little bit of a better record than that. And that's it. That's all the games for this upcoming week. And we move on to the poll. The big poll question. Let's get into that. All right. So who on the Edmonton Oilers has been the most consistent and reliable? I was actually going to do one on who's been the worst, but I'm like, why keep a negative attitude on this? Like, why be so negative? So I want to go and think of who is the player that you think has been the most consistent. Scan that QR code. It'll take you directly to my YouTube community page. The options are Adam Henrique, Matthias Ekholm, Leon Draisaitl, or Calvin Pickard. And I should have actually put an other option, but I did not. But those are the three that really stand out for me that have been actually playing pretty good this year. And we go into our final thoughts here. Answer a few of your questions. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. As I do, again, unfortunately, I have to go to the hospital, go visit my mother, who is recouping, and I'm just going to see how she's doing. But yeah, let's get into final thoughts and your questions. All right, here we go. Renegade Man. Okay, I thought I lost you, Renegade Man, because I end up hitting this button when I meant to hit that button. Anyway, long story short, I'm happy you're back in there because I did notice I lost a subscriber that week, and I'm like, oh, shoot. I wonder if I pissed off Renegade Man. Anyway, I wonder if they will claim Favreau. I think they right now still have... I think it's something that they would be considering, but they still have to move some money around, even though I think he's a 2.7 cap hit or something like that. I don't know exactly. He's not really that much. I imagine the discussion is there. What scares me, though, Renegade Man, is I'm hearing there's conversation that that he may bring Seth Jones into the fold, and that's another expensive. I hope he doesn't do that because it isn't that good. I hope those fake fans are more patient with Skinner because the fans ran so many goalies out of town. We will never be satisfied if we do that. I kind of agree with you on this. I would call, because I tell you right now, Renegade Man, there's times I get pissed off at Skinner too, you know. But you also got to call a spade a spade. Like, the defense has to be better around him. 100%. There has to be more of a sense of urgency. What I saw in that Vegas game was disgusting. Evan Bouchard needed to get back. And, you know, like I said earlier on the episode, mistakes happen, but effort has to be there 100%. The defense has to be better because Nurse is Nurse and Bouchard sleeps a lot. Well, yes, but why does the defense have to pick up for them? They're high-paid athletes. They need to be better. Simple as that. Get that sniffing salt going, whatever. Get energized somehow, but they need to 100% be better. Nurse hasn't been as bad this season so far that he's been in recent years. But, yeah, he still needs to work. Like, Ekholm is a worker. Even Kulak has been looking really good. You know, and then we miss a lot of the guys. We miss Cece. I'm starting to really realize we miss Cece. We're missing the speed that McLeod brought. We're missing the intangibles that Warren Fogle brought. Like, there's a lot of stuff we're missing. And you know who I know right now, Vancouver's not very happy with Vinny Desharnais. So I wonder if there's a possibility Vinny Desharnais may make a return. Noah Phillip was a great surprise. He is definitely a great surprise, 100%. Love the guy's play. Love it. And this is where the discussion point gets to, like, you know, maybe they can go after Favreau, but maybe put Derek Ryan on waivers and free up that cap space there. That's an option too. Anyway, thanks for chiming in, Renegade Man. Really appreciate it. Always willing to answer your questions. Again, guys, if you like the content I bring, if you're watching this for the very first time, feel free to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I could always use a few extra subscribers. Other than that, guys, I'm out of here. And remember, guys, never forget your freedoms for the lost lives of all those soldiers in World War II and in many wars. Always remember your freedoms are because of their loss. Anyway, guys, you have a great week, and we'll see you next week.